Good evening, America. I'm your host, and if you feel a strange breeze tonight, that's just the sound of $100 billion exiting the US Treasury all at once. It's the ultimate refund policy from hell. Because we have to talk about February 20th, the day the Supreme Court decided to play accountant-in-chief. In a 6-3 ruling, the justices took a long, hard look at the administration's trade policy and said, you know, those tariffs you've been slapping on everything from steel to luxury handbags? Yeah, you can't do that. Also, give the money back. It is being called one of the biggest financial setbacks in American history. It's like the government went on a shopping spree using a credit card they stole from the American people, and the Supreme Court just showed up with a bill and a pair of handcuffs. And let's look at the legal gymnastics here. The administration used something called the IEEPA, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. It sounds very dramatic, doesn't it? It sounds like something you'd use if aliens were invading or if you ran out of ranch dressing. But the administration used it to declare a national emergency over aluminum and cheap sneakers and basically anything that wasn't made in a factory in the Midwest. They claimed that the very existence of a foreign-made toaster was a threat to national security. But the Supreme Court, including 6 justices who usually agree that the president should be allowed to do almost anything except breathe too loudly, finally found a limit. They said the president isn't a king of commerce. You can't just wake up, have a Diet Coke, and decide French Brie is an imminent threat to the Republic just to make it more expensive. And now, here's where it gets spicy. This isn't just about stopping future tariffs. The court ruled that the way they were collected was illegal from the start, which means the US government now owes potentially over $100 billion in refunds to corporations. Do you know how much $100 billion is? It's enough to buy Twitter and still have enough left over to pay for Elon Musk's therapy for the next decade. It's enough to give every American a free air fryer and a modest hug. But instead, the money is going back to big corporations. It's the ultimate whoopsie daisy. And the government spent that money already. It's gone. It was probably spent on invisible jets or gold-plated staplers for the Pentagon. And now they have to find it. And I'm picturing the Secretary of the Treasury frantically checking under the sofa cushions in the Oval Office. Mr. President, I found a nickel-and-a-half eaten granola bar. Only $99.999 billion to go. And for the administration, this is more than a financial blow. It's a total identity crisis. Their whole brand was, we are going to tax the world until they love us. They treated tariffs like a magic wand. High inflation? Tariffs. Trade deficit? Tariffs. Stubbed your toe? Tariffs on the floor. But the Supreme Court just snapped the wand in half. They told the president, if you want to tax people, you have to go through that big building with the dome and the people who argue all day. You know, Congress. And we all know how Congress works. They couldn't agree on the color of the sky if their lives depended on it. Asking Congress to pass a tariff is like asking a group of toddlers to agree on a retirement plan. It's not going to happen. And can you imagine the mood in the boardrooms of Apple, Walmart, and Amazon right now? It's like Christmas, but without the annoying relatives and with a lot more lawyers. There are CEOs across the country popping champagne and shouting, "The Supreme Court just paid for my third yard. God bless the separation of powers." And meanwhile, the American taxpayer is sitting there wondering, wait, if the government gives back the $100 billion, who pays for that? Spoilers, it's you. The government is going to have borrow money to pay back the money they illegally took from you so they could pretend to protect you. It's a circle of fiscal insanity that would make any Ponzi scheme look like a solid investment. And what's truly fascinating is the 6-3 split. Usually we can predict these things, but this time the conservative majority basically looked at the president and said, "We like you, we really do, but we like the non-delegation doctrine more. Also, we're tired of hearing about the price of steel. It's a rare moment of judicial tough love. It's the court telling the White House, "You're not the boss of the port. You are the boss of the White House. Stay in your lane, or at least stop crashing the car into the global trade system." And the 3 dissenting justices? They probably just didn't want to deal with the paperwork of a $100 billion refund. Can you blame them? That's a lot of Excel spreadsheets. And let's not forget the rest of the world. China, Europe, Mexico, they're all watching this like it's a comedy special. They spent months being threatened with the big tariff stick, and now they realize the stick was made of wet cardboard and held together by a legal loophole that just got closed. The tariff wars might be over, not because of a peace treaty, but because the American court system just took away the president's ammunition. He didn't realize, I just say 10%, but still. This is like a duel where one guy shows up with a pistol and the other guy shows up with a court order saying, "Pistols are only for decorative use unless you have a 60-vote majority in the Senate." So where do we go from here? The administration will probably try to rebrand the tariffs as voluntary contributions to the greatness of America. Or maybe they'll start a GoFundMe. Help us pay back the $100 billion so we can keep pretending the IEEPA is a real thing. But for now, the message is clear. The Supreme Court has spoken. The Constitution still exists, even if it makes the president's deals significantly harder to close. It is a great day for constitutional law, a terrible day for the federal budget, and a fantastic day for anyone who owns a company that imports things from literally anywhere else. So I'm your host for the Outside View Show USA. I'm going to go check my bank account to see if the government accidentally refunded me for that toaster I bought in 2024. From the US, by the way. And good night, America. And remember, a national emergency is only an emergency until a judge tells you to shut up.